It'd be a shame if I had to kill you if you said anything.
I told you about killing people, dude. I want to find out what's underneath that mask.
I'm not wearing a mask. I have fur. I want Lex to talk to Helm again.
Absolutely. What do you say to Lex? Or what does Lex say to Helm?
She says, "Okay, you can talk now. Just talk in my head. Are you able to turn around?"
We would be able to stop. That would be possible. However, at this point, I would very much like to continue.
Helm, I think they're trying to kill me.
Aren't a lot of people trying to kill everybody?
I mean, yes, but... And I think in that moment she just goes silent. And this flashback of a memory just goes to the forefront of her mind, and it's a scene where she feels sick. She feels sick and dizzy, and she opens her mouth to yell, to say something. And then there's a sharp pain in her stomach. And it doesn't really register what's going on until she feels herself. She feels the blood in her mouth. She feels it everywhere. And this feeling of betrayal, disappointment, shame, all at once. And the next thing she sees is from a puddle of rain on the ground as it's just pouring. And the last thing that she sees is this bright, long, incredibly long figure that has looks like it's made of chains. And then suddenly she snaps back to the present moment. And she says, "Helm, we have to turn around."
Helm says, "Do not worry, Lux. Me and the rest of the crew will protect you."
Well, I don't want anything to happen to you either. Any of you.
I believe that feeling to be mutual.
If they want to kill me, then they're gonna do it. They're going to find a way. They keep finding us, Helm. They keep finding you.
Helm is silent for a moment, and then will say to you, I was lost for a very long time. If people want to attempt to find me, they can try. But I must also find myself.
There's no convincing you out of it, is there?
The draw of this place is strong, I will admit, but you are the pilot.
I think for the first time in who knows how long, Lux feels afraid. She's terrified. And not for herself, but for everybody on this ship, for Helm. And she just resigns to it. She says, okay. I trust you.
I trust you all as well. I would stake my being on that. I believe I already have.
I'd say so. And then she just goes silent.
Amazing. Are there any... Yes.
I was going to say after his trance, Cal, as he said, he makes his way to the bridge so that he can relieve Lux, but he makes sure that his gun is in its holster upon entering the bridge, because he remembers the discussion that they had just had about him not using that cylinder. So he makes sure it's tucked safely in his holster so that she can't see it. But he enters the bridge and he puts like a gentle hand on her shoulder. Hey.
She actually startles, I think, in that moment.
My bad. Sorry. Did not mean to startle you.
No, it's fine.
You good?
I think we should turn around, but Helm doesn't want to.
Why do you think we should turn around?
Because they're trying to kill me.
Excuse me?
They're trying to kill me.
Who?
The Knights Accord. Era, my...
Why are they trying to kill you?
I don't know. I got a message from my... She thinks about it. My friend. I guess. Hiding in a closet or something, and apparently they're talking about the higher-ups and everything are talking about what to do when I die.
Cal raises an eyebrow. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So, you think we should turn around? Okay, so... Alright, Funny enough, I have experience with companies or organizations that you work with suddenly trying to take you out. Uh
How about gods? Have you had experience with a god trying to take you out?
you think you work for a god?
I do, actually.
No, you work for a child that's playing with powers that are beyond its comprehension, not a god.
You don't know her. You don't know her.
I know that she thinks she commands the forces of something as primal as death, and she thinks she's the authority. That's not a god. That's a fucking child throwing a tantrum. But, alright.
Cal, she's
She's
incredibly powerful.
and she can bleed just like everybody else.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that sometimes the only way to prevent yourself from being killed is to kill first.
She slowly turns and looks at him because that is so different from anything else that he has said before. And it kind of goes against his whole pacifist thing.
His face is stone at this moment. Listen, I'm not a fan, but also sometimes the only thing you can do is fight. And if your enemy really, really is committed to killing you and they're powerful, then maybe you have to take them out. But that's like a whole other, like, whatever. Like, you're sure they're trying to kill you.
They have to be. I was so stupid to even think that they would send me on such a huge mission alone because they thought I could handle it. They thought I could do it. Like, who am I kidding?
You've been, I don't know, from what you've told me, you've got a pretty good track record. It's not outside the realm of belief that you would get a big mission to take on solo. He pauses for a moment, thinks about maybe some of the tactics that he'd been privy to once reaching like higher ranks within the Bellowing Mountains. And his eyes like drop just for a second, and he continues, but it's also not outside of the realm of possibility to send what one would think is a troublesome operative on a seemingly impossible mission to secure a certain outcome.
She looks at him, and her usual demeanor of being so guarded is suddenly not there. And she looks terrified. And
Go ahead.
she waits a moment. And says, I don't want anything to happen to any of you. because of me.
I get that. I don't think anybody on this ship wants any harm to befall anyone else because of choices or things that they've gotten themselves wrapped up in. That being said, I think we have proven to each other on numerous occasions that we are a team and we're here to help each other. And I think that that is something that this so-called God hasn't taken into account with you. Just the simple fact that you're not alone. Not anymore, at least.
Hearing that, she just kind of swallows and she disconnects from Helm. And she says, "All yours."
Hey, he still has his hand on her shoulder. Do you still trust me?
Yes.
I still trust you. This is going to be okay. I don't know how yet. Like, please don't ask me how I know, but it's going to be okay.
Okay. She just stands up and gestures to Helm.
He takes a seat and he braces for connection.
Tap in, no problem. You are able to realign and with Helm as she steps away. You, I think, immediately can sense that the location that y'all were heading towards was absolutely the dead god in question. That like the sensors reach out, and as it comes into your new visual range, you recognize it immediately from your visions.
He takes in a big inhale, and after Lux leaves the bridge, he undoes his holster and using his mystic psionic hand, he places his gun on oh my gosh, I forgot the word. We've got a thing on the bridge to study other stuff. like a sensor. Yeah. And Cal goes, can you analyze the cylinder of this gun and the bullet for me, please?
Sure thing, Cal. Is there anything I'm looking for?
I don't know if you've heard of a substance called onyx kinkrol. I know you've been out of business a long time. But apparently this belonged to me and I loaned it to someone and I don't know what it does.
Interesting. Well, I am not familiar with Onyx Cancro, but I can definitely attempt to analyze the device. Give me one moment, and there's like the analyzer whirs to life, and you see it begin to inspect the weapon. A few minutes later, it goes. It is interesting. It appears that the cylinder of the device is made out of some form of hyperdense alloy. The alloy itself is very curious. It appears to have many magical properties associated with it. Um, Inherently. However, I am also detecting an infusion of time magic in both the cylinder itself, which is extending to the rest of the gun, as well as the bullet. It seems like the two are linked together.
Hmm.
It's
Do you
also
have
curious. I'm also getting the sense that there's something linking you to this as well. It's a similar type of chronergy magic as that which links the cylinder and the bullet.
I'm sorry. What?
It is curious. It is a very faint connection, but it seems like there is a similar almost destiny tied to you and the cylinder as the bullet and the cylinder itself.
What does that mean?
But I believe that if you were to attune to the weapon, you would have a modicum of control over the bullet after firing.
Um, are you telling me that I'd be able to curve bullets?
Less curving the bullet and more reversing it back along its timeline.
Cal thinks, and he's like, wait, so you mean like if I fire it, being able to recall it back? That's why there's only one bullet.
Precisely, down the barrel of the gun back into the chamber.
Oh. Oh. Why did I have this?
At this point, I'm going to go ahead and show the actual item to the players, and I will just read it off for our lovely audience. This cylinder and single round of Onyx Cancroll is infused with time magic. After the time round has been fired, as a bonus action, you can reverse the path of the bullet back into your gun. Every creature in the path must make a DC 15 Dexterity saving throw or take 2d8 plus Dexterity modifier piercing damage. There is no limit on the range, but each amount of distance over the range of the weapon increases the return time and reduces the damage by 1.
Holy crap.
Called Cause and Effect.
Holy crap. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Cal, he absorbs this information, like really starts to internalize like what it could mean, and he also pulls the revolver back to himself, puts it back in his holster, and he's like, okay, he's working his nerves back up for what is ahead. Not only are we heading towards a dead god where he knows that he can revive his friend, but he knows that there's clusters of Star Lancers there. But then also the fact that there may be the Siren outpost that Lux is sent to destroy, and what the cause and effect of that could be. And so he's mulling over all of these options as they continue on their way.
Do you consider all of this? Excellent. Are there any other small scenes that folks would like to have?
I think Kite, when he eventually does get up, is gonna go to like wherever like the viewing deck for Helm is. Normally he'd probably stay in his room and study for a little while in the morning, or like when he first gets up, and instead I think he's gonna get up and he's just gonna go find a place where he can sit and look out on the approaching destination.
On the deck of the ship?
Yeah, like just anywhere that's like not the like main what is it called when you're the area where you control it from?
Not the bridge. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, he's going to the deck. Like he wants to sit up there and just kind of be able to look out.
Yeah, absolutely. As you sit there on the deck, Kite, it's very small at first, but it rapidly grows in size. This large, semi-humanoid figure, potentially humanoid, more humanoid at one point, but even then vast and alien and bizarre with inhuman anatomy. And you see this calcified remains of this larger than life, almost divine being, like floating out here in the void. And you see it's pretty dark. There are a few lights running, but there are maybe a couple ships in a dock that you can see, but it seems fairly quiet as you sit out there.
I will like look at the very alien, unusual place that we're headed for a moment, and then he's gonna just walk to like the other side of the deck where he's not looking directly at that. He's gonna peer down over the side of the deck like he's looking down a cliff face into like the darkness or the astral sea around the ship, and just is kind of like thinking about what it would be like to fall down something like that. And he just stands there.
Amazing. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah, so it's in this final hour as y'all finish your 8 hours of long rest. You come up and see this figure of this dead god looming, very vast and horrifying, but also like magnificent in this macabre way of like, this thing is huge, like bigger than world ships that you've seen, like almost like bearing on like the size of a moon or something like that, right? Like it could hug a moon. It feels like it's so large. And as you are approaching it, Cal, I think one of the main things that you notice as you are piloting and as your sensor range comes in to focus, you recognize that there is like weapon batteries that have been created on the exterior of the outpost, which makes absolute sense to you. As you know, protecting against this correlation is a high concern in general, but also this is Nightsinger we're talking about, and once they've got their hooks into something, they do not like to let go without a fight. But what you notice especially is that these towers are not powered on. They seem to be off for whatever reason.
It seems like everything's dark on the outpost. He sends that one out to everyone.
Sure, we'll say that as you are like piloting, you can just you can verbalize your voice onto the deck of the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like everybody gets that one like over the PA. He's like, we're approaching the outpost, but it looks like everything is dark.
I'm gonna say Lux definitely told Lance and Kite everything that was happening. So she doesn't leave that out.
Honestly, yeah.
Wait, so did you do that before? I'm just imagining Lux going to the deck of the ship while Kite is having a very obvious little breakdown to inform him that the organization that she works for might be actively trying to kill her as well.
Oh, I guess so. I guess that's exactly
R.I.P.
Kite.
This baby does not have enough anxiety.
Poor Kite.
Yeah, it's fine. He when he hears the announcement that the thing looks dark, he just is sitting with Lance and Lux wherever on the ship, since they're all probably awake now, with his tail twitching like an angry cat, just frustrated and scared and upset.
I think Lex is going to go down to see it for herself. And she's going to make sure that she has her 2 new daggers, the Starlight, the detonator, all on her.
You want to leave the ship in orbit, or kind of outside from the outpost.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, for sure.
I will say that might be a little tricky. That might rely, if somebody's not staying here to continue to pilot Helm, the thing is constantly moving, right? So it might be difficult to, without staying to correct, without landing or finding someplace to tie your ship off to, right? You might end up the ship might end up getting left behind.
Sorry, I think I sounded confusing. I just meant she went to the helm with her stuff. She just, she didn't leave. Yeah, she didn't leave.
On that note, though, is there a way that we could, kind of lock Nimbus into geosynchronous orbit with this?
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check, and I'll say at advantage as you communicate to Helm what you're thinking.
That's a 22.
Hey.
I'm gonna say it's definitely going to be possible. However, Helm is not the savviest pilot, right? So it will definitely be able to continue to maintain geosynchronous orbit. However, if something happens, another ship shows up and it has to make a decision about being stealthy or maintaining geosynchronous orbit, it will probably be stealthy. But once that happens, it might have to break geosync for that, right?
Cal's gonna put these options out to the rest of the crew and ask for input.
I will also say it's huge. This thing is massive, right? There are, looking out, there are lots of places that you see structures that have been built, but you also see there are plenty of nooks and crannies that are massive that you could probably squeeze into as well.
I was going to relay that info as well. Do we see any Star Lancers entering or exiting this corpse?
Sure, go ahead and make a perception check. If you have your familiar as well, go ahead and do so with advantage.
What's a familiar?
You got your little egg?
I got a nat 20 anyway.
Hey!
There you go.
I was gonna say the egg crits from inside of the
I'm helping!
I'm just nat 20. Cal, you do not see any Star Lancers entering or exiting.
Well, this part is quite different from my vision.
I'll say, in fact, you don't see very much entering or exiting. You definitely see that it looks like there is a large, almost settlement kind of setup. They look like kind of ragtag, kind of smaller buildings. And then you also see kind of a ship dock as well, too, where multiple vessels are kind of pulled in. You see that many of them are kind of shabbier looking spelljammers, kind of more basic, but you do see one or two nicer looking spelljammers that definitely look like they were a prettier, a bigger price tag than the rest of them. Absolutely, that catches your eye. And I will say, as you kind of are drifting slowly closer, you see that despite the weapon systems being offline, it does seem like there is power going on, like inside in the internal cavity of the dead god, like the chest area. It looks like there is light sources that you are seeing, like shining out from it.
Hmm.
That's weird.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Incredibly suspicious.
Hal's going to put the ship into a stealth mode. As we like continue to approach this god, but he is going to try and find a discreet place to maybe dock Nimbus that's not the ship dock where everybody else is,
Yeah.
and where you would expect them to just plop down.
Absolutely. Do you like the mining town that you kind of spotted? It's almost kind of like in on an asteroid that is kind of floating off to the side of it. Either it's an asteroid or a chunk of the dead god that is like disconnected and is floated off. It's kind of separate though. There's also like the nooks and crannies like around their legs where they seem to have like split and like large chunks have kind of floated apart.
Ooh, the legs are kind of far from the chest, but it's also attached to it, so we don't have to worry about losing our ship.
Hmm. God, this thing is huge.
This is what a real god looks like.
Well, I mean, it's dead, so it's not real anymore, is it?
Is there like
Nobody
a big
said-
god planet, or like are they
Nobody
just
said gods can't
alone
die
all the time? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, where was this person before they were here? You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell what god it is? Like, is there any way to tell what god it is?
Make me a religion check. Anybody can make this check.
Ooh.
Make it.
Let's go for it.
I will
Oh,
say
yes.
that Lance, your familiar can help you with this. You can have advantage on it. Everybody else.
Dirty 20.
Ooh.
Dirty 20, dirty 20, dirty 20.
That's a 13.
11.
I got a lot of 19s.
I also got a 13.
Damn.
Everybody except Lux, you have no idea. Like this just there is clear divinity in this creature. It's even regardless of its size, there is just a weird energy to this thing. Like obviously something so large, it feels impossible for it to exist. But as you kind of like move around, you see a large chunk kind of float into view, and you see that it appears to have been maybe like a piece of calcified wing at one point.
Oh,
Lux, you have an even bigger insight than that. Lux, you realize at the crown of this dead god's head, you see smashed into what look at this distance like small pieces, but must be huge. You see the distinctive shape of what was once a halo.
Damn.
I think Cal's going to make the decision to go ahead and dock in one of like the nooks on the leg of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, as you kind of pilot around, there actually is a heavier weapons presence here than you were anticipating as you float by. But again, all the weapons are down still. You do see that over on this side, there is a on one of the legs, it appears to be like that heavier weapon presence, and then on the left leg, which is kind of more the more full leg that doesn't kind of end at the knee. You see that there is like a bit of a mining operation already happening inside of basically the upper thigh of the god. But you feel like you could probably rest on like the ankle or somewhere on the foot itself and be pretty stealthy. It will take you maybe a little while to get around though. It's like we're talking like hundreds, if not several thousand feet of distance between in this space, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that could be a couple hours of a trek.
I got a question.
Hey,
It'd be terrible if we had to make a hot exit.
So when so in my notes from when Lex was doing that like recon stuff and just like listening about all the Onyx Cankrel stuff, I have it written down that there is a meta magical material. Is this the Onyx Cankrel? I can't remember.
No, the Onyx Cankrel was something that the founders of Respite discovered, having to do with the black hole specifically. This is
Okay.
just a facility kind of similar to what was going on in the Aurora Boros with the Leviatar factory.
Got it. Okay. So all she knows is that it's a meta magical material then, right?
Yeah, that they're mining some value, some resource out of this thing.
Okay.
Hmm.
So seeing the distance that you might have to cover if you were to leave the ship on the foot, do you continue to dock, Cal, or what do you think?
I think we're going to change course. Forgive us for our indecisiveness.
Oh, no, all good, all good.
To dock on the piece of rock that is kind of floating around and with the dead god, because at least everyone can do a little astral sea swim to the main body.
Absolutely, that is the place where the little mining town has been built up. But you can easily, like, it seems like mostly that it has been built on like one side of it, so you're easily able to go to like the dark side of the little settlement and avoid any notice as you pilot in over.
Does this feel like an area where it would be okay for us to like astral jump? Like there's enough kind of lack of that gravity, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think that like you could leave the like you could definitely like leave it nestled in this like kind of like in this rock kind of area, and that would be fine. Like it seems like whatever this huge chunk is in orbit around or with the dead god itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is this a celestial of some sort, like of an
Mayhaps.
angelic type?
It's
You
got a
definitely-
halo.
You definitely think that this thing, whatever it was in life, was some epic level celestial of some nature.
Whoa, neat. Okay, anyway. Are there any entry points that we can see, like, that would be least obvious?
Sure. Well, so the central mining town, it's like it looks pretty ramshackle as you're kind of like floating in, like using the cover of the void to fly past it. It looks pretty ramshackle. It's kind of like the air shell on this asteroid. It looks like it's keeping most of the buildings, inside of it, and it looks like basically a shanty town. It does not look well taken care of. But on the dead god themselves, you see that it seems like the face specifically is kind of like unlike our lovely image that we have here, the face is missing its jaw, and it looks like and its eye sockets have been like completely like calcified over, like as if it had closed its eyes in death, and then those closed eyelids had solidified and fossilized into that hard plate. But you do see like its chest is also kind of busted open, and you see that there are like multiple like entry points that are like viable to enter through in the chest. It looks like that is like there's like a lot of different holes, but it does look like there is like a main thoroughfare of like workers' tools and mining equipment that comes in through like that primary chest cavity.
Okay, if I have a disguise kit and costume clothes, can I help the entire party? I mean, if they agree, look like the mining workers?
If you knew what the mining workers look like, yes, absolutely.
Can I see them?
We're going
Do
to
I
have to
know?
explore the. We're going to have to explore the town.
Fuck. Okay.
I
have
get where you're
no
going. Great
conception
idea.
of
But
distance.
before we even get started, we're going to have to investigate the town a little bit to try and pick up some of that info.
I was hoping we could, do the investigation like that, but
You ever just look at a town and know immediately what everybody there looks and dresses like?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's at least going to share this plan with the group to see what they think, and so that after they investigate, maybe they can disguise themselves.
I think when she tells everyone this, Kite just looks at her and just like makes very direct eye contact, doesn't say anything, and casts disguise self on himself so that he looks like a blue tiefling.
You don't need my help. Okay.
Like, I appreciate that you offered.
Yeah, you have this covered. You should do that more often, actually. When
I
we're
do
going
it quite
places.
often.
How do you think he lost me?
Good point. All right. Let's do this.
I love how Lux is just like, huh, I've been corrected.
Yeah.
I love that. Let's do this. Amazing. The gangplank slinks down out of Helm, and y'all depart as he is nestled quietly in the rocks. And I think we are going to go ahead and call it there. I think that's the perfect moment as y'all head out into the mining town.
Yeah, that's fair, but also, like, I want to keep doing this.
I know, right? So bad.